This is my Minecraft survival world in the new 1.20 update. And so far, we've had a couple of farms that we've set up, like all of our trees growing around us, our sugarcane farm on the beach, and our wheat field in the back of our house. But none of these farms are automated yet, meaning I have to spend a lot of time off camera just to make sure I have things like bread so that I can make it through the episode, which significantly limits how much progress I can make in this world. So in this episode, my plan is to start automating some of our farms and building something on top of them so that they still look pretty. And the first thing that I want to start with is our bamboo farm over here. Currently, we just have it laid out, and I have to come over here with a stone sword every time I want to harvest it. So if I can turn that into an automatic farm, I can then just put it in this Fletcher house so that I can trade with the Fletcher for sticks whenever I want. And I'm not really expecting huge outputs from this, so we're just going to make a very small compact farm. And I actually just realized that we need an observer for this farm, which means that we are going to be going to the Nether for the first time. Luckily, I've already been preparing for this day, so I've got lots of obsidian in here. Now we just need to pick a temporary location, which I think the beach will do just fine. Then we just need some flint and steel and some gold armor. Ooh, perfect. This is a really good spawn, actually. I like those trees. But we are actually here for this. And I might as well use the mending that we got last episode on the axe and repair some of the tools. Then we can block off the nether portal so nothing gets in there by accident. And finally, craft our observer. And now with all this stuff, I think we have everything for the farm. So if we head over to the Fletcher house, I'm going to use this to cover up the farm just so I don't have to build anything extra. And I figure it's already applicable because, like I said, we can just trade with the Fletcher when we're done. So to get started, we're going to need a chest right here to collect everything. Then we should have a hopper coming into the back of the chest. And I saw that people are starting to use mud blocks now because they're not completely full blocks, so that way we don't need anything for the hopper to work because the bamboo should just go straight through. And speaking of bamboo, we're going to need a little bit of that, and then we can just put it right on top of the mud. And I'm realizing now this all needs to come one forward, actually, just like that. And then we just need to add a block behind the bamboo, and then that is where the piston is going to sit. And the bamboo is already growing, so we better finish this really quick by adding the observer right on top and activating it with some redstone dust right behind it. And now all I need is something to activate that redstone. So if we put our redstone torch right here, oh boy, what's happening? Okay, I figured it out. So we actually don't need something activating the redstone. For some reason, the redstone just like works. So now if I use the bone wheel and kind of show that off, every time the bamboo reaches the observer level, the observer is going to realize that, activate the piston, which will then break the bamboo, drop it through the mud into this chest for us. So now that that is complete, technically, all we need to do is cover up this farm. Okay, now I'll admit it looks a little bit weird, but I think I like it. It covers up all the ugly redstoneness, and it kind of makes it look like a sandstone fireplace, which, I don't know, that's kind of fun. And either way, it is working, which means that automatic farm number 1 is complete, which means that I'd like to start moving on to the next farm. What happened here? You guys are all supposed to be in different pens, so oh, Enderman, that makes sense. Well, not to worry, because the next farm will probably fix this. What I want to do is create a cow farm, a sheep farm, and a pig farm underneath the barn. We're still, of course, going to have our animals in the pen. These farms will just be the automatic versions of them. So if we take out the dirt to clear out this area, then we can make a little bit of an entrance right here and cover it up with a little bit of an overhang off the barn. Just like that. And it doesn't have to look too fancy just because it is just supposed to be a back entrance to some of our more automatic farms. And a length of about that should be good. So now we just need to widen this tunnel. And this size should be pretty good. Now we just need to start filling in the walls. We can start by adding in some pillars of wood to act as our structure. That way, since it's technically just a cave underneath our barn, it won't look like it's going to cave in. And now that we have our structure in, I think I'm going to take a step back and actually start building the farms. That way we know what we need to build around instead of having to adjust what we've already built later on. So the first thing that we're going to start off with is a cow crusher. And I think I'm going to put it right here in this corner. So we're going to start with our stairs so that we can get up to the cow crusher, our chest so that we can collect everything, and then we need to go craft ourselves up a hopper, which is going to feed right into our chest. Then we're going to start alternating between some slabs and some solid blocks all the way around the hopper. Next, we can bring up a couple more blocks on top of the slabs, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect this all up to the ceiling. And now our farm is ready for our cows, which we can go ahead and take from the wrong pen that they've walked themselves into. And now we just need to bring them up and into the farm, which is always much easier said than done. Had to kind of dig into the barn a little bit, but that should be fine. And now that I've got both my cows in there, I can close up the area that we exposed the barn, and then we can add a fence right above these guys. And now the final step that I've got is to add a bucket of water right underneath their feet so that they start floating and touching this fence. And now every time I come up here, I can feed them so that they have some more baby cows. And I believe once there is 20, I want to say, is the max count, then we'll start producing some leather and some steak in here. But that's going to take a while, as I'll have to breed 20 cows. But technically that makes that farm complete. So the next thing that I want to do, I'd like to make a cute little chicken coop right on the side of the barn. Then if we have some more time, we can go back down here and add like a sheep farm and a pig farm and things like that. But for now, I'm going to prioritize that chicken coop. So let's start by clearing out the area next to the barn. And then I actually want it to be connecting through this area so that we can put the chickens into this pen, and they technically can go from inside to the outside. So we can start with the base, making a nice square with our pillars, and then we can start filling in the walls right here, connecting the top with some stairs, and then on the sides we can do some upside down stairs, and then use some full blocks to make a tiny window. And to fill in the tiny window, we're going to need some fences. And now that our base is complete, we can start working on the roof, which is completely trapdoors on the top, which I haven't had a build that I've built before that has done that, so that's kind of cool. And of course, all of our buildings are pretty much all outlined with some stone, so I wanted to do that to this chicken coop as well, just because we want it to fit in with the barn. So we can use that to outline all of this, and then we can finish it off with a nice slab in the middle. And then, like I said, I want it to kind of fit in with the barn, so I'm actually going to take out these blocks right here and replace them with some oak logs that I can strip so that it matches the barn. And I think I'll do the same to these front two right here, and that should be good. And now for the inside, I'm going to want to fill in this ceiling right here. And then the final part of this build is I would like to add a little bit of an overhang going to about right there so that it balances out kind of the proportions of this build right now. Because currently we've got our back entrance and this entrance, and then there's not much space kind of holding it together right here. So I think a canopy would be the perfect fix for that. So I just need to grab a bunch of spruce trapdoors, and then I'm just going to layer them all the way up until our poles. Just like that. Then we can add a couple more fences and a fence gate, so that way we've got a little bit easier of an access than that little trapdoor. And then the chickens also have much more room. They can come hang out inside or in their chicken coop or even outside. So currently the chickens have the most luxurious area of the barn. Meanwhile, I just made a cow crusher underneath it, but you know, that's not the point of the video. It's okay. We're just not going to talk about it. And now that this build is complete, we can head to the inside of the chicken coop so that we can actually make this a working farm. And to do that, we're going to need a couple of hoppers. And I'm not really willing to spend that much iron on this just because it is just eggs. So I'm thinking that we craft maybe one hopper, and whatever it catches is just how many eggs we're going to get. Then we're also going to need a chest. And the way that the tutorial I'm following makes it look like a coop is by taking some yellow carpet. So we can go ahead and turn all of that into dye and into yellow wool and into some carpets so that we can add it right on top of the hopper. Now, if any chickens happen to lay an egg right near the hopper, then we can just come in here and grab it out of the chest. And now the final thing that we need to do, now that we have built it and added the farm portion, is of course actually add the chickens. So because we had a bunch in our front yard a couple episodes, I have tons of eggs saved up. Well, at least I did before I started throwing them at the pillagers, so maybe we only have 15. Hopefully that will still be enough, and if not, there's some chickens over here I can just grab with some seeds. There's number one, and it looks like we're gonna have to go grab some chickens, which I think we still have one in here. No, we do not. We apparently have them all the way over here though. So let's grab these guys all out of Sandy's pen. That was so many. I really only thought there was like one or two, and they just we're all lined up against the wall. Well, here you go, guys. This is your new pen. Congratulations. Make lots of eggs. Thank you. And then that should make this build complete. And with that one being completed, that's actually going to be the end of this episode as well, as I am pretty much out of time for automating all my farms. But we definitely automated quite a few of them, so that will help out significantly in the long run. So if you happen to enjoy this episode at any time, consider subscribing, because I'd love to see you guys in the next episode. And speaking of next episode, here's a couple that I think you would enjoy.